Hi, my name's Katie,
And I'm Jolie.
and today we're going to pretend that we are in an entry-level nutrition class and learning about appropriate sugar intake. The learning method we'll be teaching is teach the text backwards. Traditionally, teachers have their students read the text and then have an activity following. Generally speaking, this method works, but if a student doesn't follow directions and doesn't read the text before class, the activity following may or may not make sense to the individual. Teaching the text backwards focuses on gaining the student's attention at the beginning of the lesson and inspiring their curiosity on the subject that's going to be taught. It can be useful to use this technique when there is difficult terminology in the chapter.
Teach the text backward consists of 4 steps. The first step being design the activity that will activate background knowledge. The second step will be to have the student complete the activity. Step 3, discuss the material with the class and have students answer questions regarding the text, or the activity, sorry. Step 4, have the students read the text.
And now that the teacher has designed an activity and completed step 1, she will then move on to step 2, the activity. The teacher will perform an activity with the class to spark the student's interest in the topic that's going to be discussed. They also say that 90% of what we do and say, we learn better, or we learn. So information will be retained by having them interact with this activity.
Next, we'll have 2 visual aids, both of them being 2 popular drinks used typically by busy college students. The first being a naked smoothie, 15 ounces, and a Red Bull, which is 12 ounces. We'll then ask the class which drink they think has the most sugar and have them discuss it with their partner. Then we'll have them discuss it and then jump into the material. It is said that 30% of what we hear, we remember. So, the teacher will then discuss the material by performing a lecture on the topic and performing the activity before the lecture. By performing the activity before the lecture, it keeps the students focused on the step, which is the most important when it comes to the information to be recalled.
So to get started, let's talk about the role it plays in our bodies. All carbohydrates are broken down into sugars, which are essential to our bodies and needed to create and store energy. However, it's important we understand that all sugars are not the same. All carbohydrates are either simple or complex. Complex carbs contain starch and fiber and are made up of longer chains of sugar molecules, which take them longer to digest. Simple sugars are released faster into the bloodstream, which leads to blood sugar spike and a release of insulin in the body. And examples of simple sugars includes Coke, candies, cookies, all the other bad stuff you can think of. And because sugar is linked to a number of different diseases in America, including diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, we want to limit our intake of sugars. The U.S. dietary guidelines advise individuals to consume no more than 10% of their total calories a day from sugar. And for an individual consuming a 2,000 calorie diet, that would be about 50 grams per day.
The last step would be to have the students read the text. It is said that students learn only 10% of what they read, but by performing the other step first, they should already be comfortable with the material, so this would simply reinforce the material. So now that the teacher has discussed the material in class, you would then pass out the handout regarding the material that has been discussed and advise them to read the text.
So from this point on, we would go ahead and pass out the handout and then advise the students to go ahead and read the text. And that would just doing this whole step of teach the text backwards. It helps the student gain more interest in the topic that's going to be discussed and helps their information recall to where they'll perform better on tests.